Alright, I am back with another Destiny 2 video. I am tearing myself away from playing Lightfall to make this video. As many first impressions as I can get in here in the first 4 hours. I had about 20 minutes of queue time. I know some people did a lot longer than that, over an hour, which is a bummer, but, you know, all things considered, it's been okay. Not the worst queue I've ever seen. And I've had one game crash, but I think that may have been my fault with the computer and not something on Bungie's end. I've got a few contacting servers, but I've never actually been kicked out yet. Knock on wood. Only, you know, a limited amount of things I can talk about here, but here's where I am with Lightfall so far in these first few hours, and then kind of my first impressions of it. I have done, I would say, about 5 campaign missions, I'm pretty sure. I'll be playing one here. I would say this campaign mission I'm playing, which is a Vex thing, is not... I wouldn't consider this to be spoilers. Like, it's a story mission, but there's not anything I would say is a huge reveal in this. You're just stopping the Vex from damaging something on Neomuna, and that's kind of it. Obviously, the main enemy is the Cabal Shadow Legion, but the Vex are also here. They've been here for a very long time, and they are permanently fighting with the Cloud Striders. So I'm about 5 missions in. I am playing this first on normal. It is not terribly hard this way, and yet I am doing so to try and get through this kind of as fast as possible because I want to make myself spoiler immune, and I want to give a general impression of the campaign story. I am not really judging it based on the difficulty, although I can already tell that Tormentors absolutely live up to Bungie's reputation as being a terrifying villain. Pretty much the only times I've died in this, other than like fall damage, is Tormentor-related deaths, and I hear they are ridiculously hard on Legend. They suppress you, so you can't use any abilities a lot of the time, and they boop you to the point where like you will just go flying off the edge sometimes, and then of course they have their grab move that I'm guessing that one-shots you on Legend. It really takes you to low health even on normal, so they are horrifying in terms of, like, these are even like kind of the normal yellow bar ones that you can like do finishers on, though they are still utterly bonkers, and I think they only get harder from here. In terms of the Shadow Legion, they're not really that much different. Essentially, the only new Shadow Legion mechanic here is that it reminds me of like the Fallen stasis people, where only like one person had stasis. It's not quite like that, but there is essentially just one mechanic here where all the different kinds of units can have these little darkness backpacks on them. The darkness backpack will come off of them and give every enemy unit a shield if they're in that area. You are supposed to just shoot those and blow them up. They're a little bit like explosive barrels themselves, so you can do like damage with them once you blow them up. And that's kind of it. That's really the only mechanic so far that's different with the Shadow Legion, other than just kind of how they look in general. And I have not seen any like super outrageous, unexpected boss fights yet, but again, I am still pretty early in the campaign here. Neomuna is an interesting zone. There are a lot of things I think it is too early to fully judge. One of them is Neomuna, another is Strand. These kind of go hand in hand. Neomuna visually is certainly a striking location. It is a lot different than anything we've seen before. The smoothness of the geometry is a little odd in kind of the grand scope of Destiny, so it can look a little barren and minimalistic at times, but I think I'm warming up to it as time goes on. There's a little bit of like kind of, it's a little like Bray techy, I guess, with those. I think DSC maybe had or the whole DSC Braytech aesthetic had a little bit more of an iconic look to it, where this is trying to be cyberpunk, but not like, maybe like not cyberpunk enough. I'm not sure. In terms of the zone itself, I really think I missed something here, where I'm pretty sure you start and it's just like 2 combat zones, and then a third one opens up, unless I just didn't scroll the map down. But this is in fact kind of a hub area with 3 full combat zones, one of which seems to have a public event attached to it. The first time I tried to do the public event, all the enemies were skulls, so that did not go terribly well. It does seem to be some sort of escalation protocol-like activity or blind well with specific objectives. It's not just like kill all the enemies. It is more complicated than that. I do not know the full details of that, the reward structure, anything really about that, just that it exists and it is too hard for me at the current power level. There's also some sort of mechanic, again, too early to kind of understand this, where like Europa, there's like a different zone will be some sort of Vex incursion that week or something, and there's some bonus there. There's like something that says you can get some exotic gear there, and it's one of those like kind of rotating zones like we saw on Europa. That's like a featured thing for the week, I think. I do not really know what's going on with that. I just don't think we can fully judge Neomuna because I'm still just unlocking further and further pieces of it as time goes on. We have these patrol zones, but we also have all of these, elaborate networks of buildings and rooftops, and like I still haven't fully unlocked Strands, so traversing these rooftops like you're kind of supposed to, like it's a very Strand focused destination, obviously, but I haven't really been able to Spider-Man all around the area because I have not fully unlocked Strand. Strand is another thing that we just can't fully judge yet because the issue there is that we only get it in these very short bursts during the campaign. You stumble upon these little Strand pockets and activate it, and you kind of get a taste of it. You can use the grappling hook, you can use the melee moves, you can use the super on your class, but it is like for that encounter, I've had it activate for like, here, do 2 grappling hooks, and then it shuts off again, and you're, quote unquote exhausted and are weakened for a little while. This is all leading, there's the storyline of Strand is threaded through here. Osiris is currently studying it. My new mission right now that I haven't done yet is to go kind of to a point on the map that is supposed to be some sort of focal point for this Strand-like energy. It has something to do with the pukas. The pukas can channel this energy somehow, the little fish, who, I don't know, maybe we'll get our own, I'm not sure. But I think it's a little too soon to judge Strand. In the parts where it has let me use it, I have enjoyed the grappling hook system. It's fun. I mean, it's different than other games because you can just literally grapple anything anywhere. You don't have to like aim for the side of a building or something on the roof. It's just literally grapple wherever you want. It's a little like Spider-Man in that way, but obviously you're not going to be building up to just crazy amounts of speed and infinite grapples that you can use in actual Spider-Man games. I do like the grapple melee slam. I think that was a really important part of making it work. But again, it's like 15 total minutes across like 3 different missions I've used Strand so far, so I can't really get a full handle on it. We don't have any of the aspects or fragments. I don't have any Strand weapons. There's pretty much nothing else to go on. A little early, I'd say, to be judging the new weaponry. They will give you, as you go through the campaign, they will start giving you some of the Neomuna, I wanted to say Throne World weapons, the destination weapons. So like a stasis, wave frame, heavy grenade launcher. It's a cool archetype. But, we're not exactly farming these for crazy perks or anything yet. And I don't think I've gotten a Strand weapon yet, but I'm really just sticking with the build you see here with my Trinity Ghoul and my Arc Warlock, and that's just kind of my comfort zone here, and everything I'm infusing into my current setup. The armor charge system was a little overwhelming at first. I have really no idea what a good armor charge build is at this point, so I just did it to increase arc weapon damage as the main thing, and I think generate orbs on grenade kills and arc kills, and it seems a little bit less involved than like the past elemental well systems and the past charge with light systems, but again, I really have not played around with it too much other than to just get an initial very quick build set up. Ikora is selling new fragments for all 3 light subclasses, which I have not done yet either. There are not that many for Arc. I don't think. They're more about giving Void and Solar their little elemental well equivalents this season, and I'm going to do a Void run on my Hunter and a Solar run on my Titan. I think that's my plan here, as I try to do Legend playthroughs for the campaign after this, once I get through the base story. I have also dabbled a little bit in the seasonal story. There are a few breaks, I would say, that are good points to go and mess around with Season of Defiance. The game will have you like level up, like you will need to increase your power level. Even if we are staying away from power level for the most part, there are a couple sections where the next mission is like 40 power above where you currently are. So you kind of want to just go do anything. And at one point, there's like a really easy mission where it's just like do a bunch of Neomuna patrols and public events and stuff, and that will get you some gear. Then there was a second break, and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go do Season of Defiance. That is just a pretty quick intro. We are going back to the farm, which is amazing. I never thought we'd see the farm again, but there we are. Devrim's there, Mara's there, and it's the intro mission is essentially just throwing you into a battlegrounds for the first time. Already we can see that there are way fewer upgrades that you will unlock week to week. It's not like 3 rows of 7 upgrades. It's like, I don't know, 12 total. It's a lot less than there normally is, and so that seems like it might be a little less oppressive. I've only played one battleground. It was in the EDZ. It was pretty good. I really like battlegrounds. Both here and I would say in the campaign, we are seeing the game really go into this, enemy density philosophy. Like you can see in this Vex mission, like how many things it's spawning, and like yes, it's on normal, and yes, I'm using Trinity Ghoul, so I can clear these very, very quickly. But like they're really going hard on the enemy density thing, which I think is fantastic. Back to the seasonal story. There's a cutscene at the end of the first mission with Amanda and Crow. It's probably the funniest seasonal moment I think I can remember seeing in an extremely long time. It's very funny. There's also, I don't know, some of this stuff I think you should discover on yourself. Go to the tower. You'll understand when you get to the tower. No, they didn't bring the old tower back. That's actually what I thought they may have done. But there's some cool stuff in the tower. And fundamentally, like, I still don't really know where this storyline is going. We are trying to find something called the Veil on Neomuna. The Witness is using Callus to try and destroy the Veil. We don't know, still don't know what this is. Really have any clue what it is. Five missions in here. I really like the Cloud Striders. Nimbus is funny. He's like, they are, approaching the point of obnoxiousness, but not quite there, and I like them. Rohan is also good. Osiris is being like really cranky and annoying this season. I don't know, like a bit over the top, so where I think he's a little exhausting is kind of the main NPC of this expansion, just because of the sheer like volume of negativity. And like, I don't know, maybe he's, once he figures out Strand and gets some powers back, I assume this is all leading to Osiris getting Strand. He's like toying with it a little bit now, and we knew he was kind of going to be our Strand mentor for this. I don't know. I hope he cheers up a little bit by the end here, because he's a little much. Callus is, I don't know. Callus is being Callus. We're doing a whole Callus thing with facing off against Keitel again, and that's fine. I just don't know how many times we can do the whole Callus thing. And he, in one of the initial cutscenes, he just like seems kind of bored of like the mission the Witness is giving him already. I assume he's going to be the campaign boss. That is what I'm guessing here, but we don't know for sure. And I don't even know how many total missions are in this campaign, but I think I have a good amount more to go. I knew I wasn't going to be able to finish it by the time I did this video, because it's only been a couple hours here, but there's a lot to do. Overall, my first impressions are positive, but it's a brand new Destiny expansion, and it's hard not to be immediately excited to kind of dive right in. And there's a lot of fun stuff that you can do initially. I think the campaign is going well so far. Part of me wishes I did Legend, but I do need to get through it relatively quickly here before someone spoils it for me. And besides that, I'm just going to be kind of fleshing out my arsenal, diving deeper into the new mod system, and then gearing up for Strand builds and things like that. But all of this stuff are things we can't really accomplish quite yet. And there are so many other quality of life changes and things that we just haven't even come close to scratching the surface of. I just got a device that shows how many vendor engrams you have in the tower at any given time that you can check. Like Rahul gave me this, and there's just a thousand little things that they changed here that I haven't really fully explored yet. But first impressions are positive. That may not be a shock to you, and I think there's a lot more I kind of need to dig into to make kind of a full judgment, a full review of what's going on here with Lightfall. But let me know about your own experience. I'm very curious what people are making of this initially, and there will be loads more to talk about through the course of this week, next few weeks, month, everything. So thanks for watching, and I will see you out there. Take care.